Well, I always talk about there's a couple of things that can ruin this market. An easy one is the Fed. Looks like the Fed came in today and bullered us over. We'll talk about it right now on At the Close. Hit the like button. Let's get it started.
All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
Three consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
All right, what's going on, Joel? Looks like
What's going on is, sometimes we do okay in the morning and we make some good calls, and then sometimes we stink up the joint. But today we were okay in a lot of stocks and the S&Ps. That rally off the open, that came short of the lower end of Friday's range. It came up short of the pre-market high. Uh, Tried to hold 4,000 desperately, and then old Bullard got in there, and I think that was the final tipping point. Trading on the lows of the session, down 71.75 handles. We're at the bottom of my numbers here. Last week's low, 39.1250. I don't think that is going to be in range for at least today, but who knows about later in the week. A big turnaround in the buck. Almost made a new low for the move, turned it around, up 70 cents at 106.62 and a half. TLT still just this rally, this robust rally off the low for no good reason. Crude, you just can't trust crude. It's down $3 on the day. It rallies back. It's up 60 cents. Not really helping crude stocks, but that's one of the biggest range days you've seen in crude in quite some time. Gold goes from in the green to in the red, down 13.90 and 17.54.90. Silver creeping towards 21. That's down 52 cents at 21.09. Bitcoin trying to close back over 16K, down 365 at 15,935. And Ethereum futures, they're down $15 at 1150.
All right, so let's talk about what happened today. Of course, a lot of people are saying that the continued protests in China are affecting the markets on the downside. One of the areas that I definitely think that got hit here were comments from Bullard, and this came from a webcast interview with Market Watch and Barron's. So just want to go ahead and state that. I'm going to give you guys here so you guys can hear his comments. It's only about 44 seconds long. Let's hear what he had to say.
They're counting the first 250 basis points as if that was a tightening of monetary policy, but really that's just getting up to the long run neutral level of the policy rate. We've only recently moved into restrictive territory, and we're going to have to move farther in order to keep inflation under control. I think we probably have to stay there all during 2023 and into 2024, given the historical behavior of core PC inflation or Dallas Fed trim mean inflation. They will come down, I think. That's my baseline, but they probably won't come down quite as fast as markets would like. They're counting the first 250 basis points as if that was a tightening of monetary policy, but really that's just getting up to the long run neutral level of the policy rate. We've only recently.
Well, there you guys hear his comments there. He says that we just are getting into restrictive area. He pretty much is giving us that we could keep going into all of 2023 and not see the cutting of the interest rates, right? He's not saying that they won't stop raising, but he doesn't say that, it's guaranteed that they'll be cutting it in 23. And I think that spooked the market there. And everyone's been looking for the Fed to pivot, right? Pivot. Well, comments like this isn't going to help that argument.
Yeah, that there was one vacuum, and I was looking on the SPY candle. I'm not sure what time that hit the tape, but I think it was just afternoon. I'd come back to check the market, and it had a big spike down. So that must have been when he said that. Double catalyst. I mean, Fed speak, China this morning, Fed speak today. Also, that was the rally at the end of last week. That was just kind of like, it was just really, really quiet. You could feel the sellers out there. And then what we talked about this morning was, that buy the dip mentality. Where's the dip here? We just had a 500-point rally off that 3,500 low. Not quite in. Well, it did get it. It was a 50-point rally. In the Spider 53-point rally. I mean, you gotta look at reality and say, well, if they're gonna buy the dip or there's gonna be a year-end rally, it ain't gonna start from 400. It ain't gonna start for 4,000. And that's the interesting thing is right now, last week's low in the S&Ps, as I said, 39,1250. Still a little bit lower in the Spider, I think at 390. I'll let you do the Spider numbers, but that's your setup. And you know what? When you got your big dogs dragging you down, Apple, Microsoft down 2.86%, Microsoft down 2.5%. That's more than 1% of the S&P. It does, you could have all your little other value oil stocks doing stuff, but they're not even responding today. But when you got the heavy hitters there down that much, very hard for the index to hold on.
Yeah, they sold a lot of those big names in technology. They sold off the industrials today, down 1.5. The financial services down. Even basic materials started pulling back. That's when you know that you got to be a little bit careful. It seemed to me like it was definitely an everything pullback today. Even energy came down for a little while there. Energy had gotten back to the green, but stocks like DE, perfect example. Stock that's probably gone too far, too fast. I'm going to start looking for these to maybe start giving a little bit of pullback opportunity.
Wow.
We'll see if we get the big pullbacks in these. Cat also looking very toppy.
But I mean, look at that. But still, I think the cat's pulled off a little bit. Yeah. Frankly, I think they're pretty good days for those stocks. All things considered, back up near all-time highs. I don't know if you're sitting on profits on these. Whew, man, oh man, oh man. If you're afraid of heights like myself, I'd be keeping maybe jot down that high close for the move, see where it's at. But man, they're eventually going to come after. You know what will happen? Someone will come in with a little downgrade or something and get it moving the other way. Jay mentions the sum. Yeah, it's pretty much a sell everything rally. And the retailers that, this Amazon, $3 off its high of the day. I mean, that's not a good day. You get up to 96.40. Now you're back on the lows of the session. We didn't talk specific as Amazon, but we did lay out the Shopify for you. And as on cue there, high of the move, 40.15. Well, they tried. They tried this morning. They for the high today, 40.15. Mentioned the high of the move was at 40.02. That didn't last very long. So retailers giving some back.
Definitely giving some back, and I think we'll just have to wait and see what happens in certain stocks now. Of course, I think that kind of Turkey Day trade is probably falling off, but if you look at like Best Buy, it hung in there today.
Yeah, Best Buy up 52 cents. The shopping still, you look at this. Exactly. If I was an investor in this stock, I'd be like, wow, what a great day. What a great gift, up from 70 to 83, lower high yesterday. But what I would be focusing on is what's going to happen if it takes out 81.10. That was your low on Friday. That's your low today, 81.15. So that's if if you're not trying to sell in strength, but you're willing to exit on weakness here. I'd say a breach of that 81.10, 81.15 could lead to more downside. Let's look at some of the other retailers. Macy's building a wall here, just under 24. Kohl's, that's traded down, give it back 60 cents. What else? We did the Macy's, we did the Kohl's. The strongest of all, the strongest of strong, Walmart. This is up again on big volume, new high for the move. and new closing high for the move. So there's your star in the retail sector. Walmart continues that post-earnings rally.
Ooh, it looks a little toppy to me, but I've told myself not to get in
Yeah.
front of it. Is the Burlington. The Burlington. Oh man, it gets a little juicy here as it looks like it rejected that move to 200 today, went towards 199.97, went close to that little breakout. It tried it today, couldn't hold up there. It's interesting to watch this chart.
Yeah. Let's see though, man. Trying to eke out a gain today, down 14 cents. You could have sold all you wanted there at 199.21 as it went up to 199.27 on that light volume rally. This is kind of interesting. Well, it was light volume on Friday. We knew that. The volume today is going to be light as well. So, you know, for today, you're able to sell into strength, right? In these $200,
Mhm.
$300 stocks, it's one thing to be able, getting those offers lifted. It's when it turns, and you have to sell into weakness. You did take out Friday's low in the code factory. You are back above it. I think the danger area I would mark is today's low at 194.53. The reason that is because your low on Wednesday is way down at 185.23, and then the gap area. So see if the Burlington, well, it's Burlington Stores. I thought it was always Burlington Coat Factory too. I wonder if they changed the name.
I wonder if they did change that. I always remember it for the coat factory, but hey, maybe they don't have that many coats in there anymore, and so that might be what it is. Let's take a look at stocks that led on that got hit the hardest here today. So one that definitely gave up, Micron Technologies. This one was trying to come back, had an interesting setup if we were getting back above 60s. Today, it let go down about 4.8%.
Boy, this thing peaked. You know what? That was on the PPI data number. Uh, Boy, oh boy, should have kept a closer eye on this one if you were looking at
Hmm.
precursor to the market. You filled this gap here and then some. I do have an area where a potential support doesn't look like it's going to hold 55.46, had a low there, 55.51, had a low there. 55.47, the low today. Not really bouncing off it yet. Three lows in the same area. I wouldn't worry about this low, which is 54.82. But I think if you're patient in this one, you can easily get a gap fill in the lower 54 handle. And then where the whole rally started from the 52. But Micron, the leader on the downside. Nvidia still traded over 160 today, been hanging in there since earnings. But today, you got a great area down here. The lows from last week in the end, 151. That's my target area on the downside for Nvidia. AMD's been holding on to hits rally okay, but looks like you got room down to 70 here, unless these things can catch a bid. Overall, not a bad month for these stocks, but like I said, they're just people aren't willing to buy the dips after the rally from 55 to nearly $80 in AMD.
All right, let's go to Pinduoduo as that hung in there. I'm wondering if this is a pullback we should be watching. Held the pullback a little bit. Baba was trying to catch up a little bit today. I saw that, and JD. So we were talking about those setups this morning. They did get a little pop towards the open, but weren't able to hold on to it. Now it's interesting. I don't know what to do with China stocks. I won't even touch it, man. Oh, you're on the mute. I don't know what happened there, Joel. Trying to put you on mute.
No, that was not internet. That was Joel net. That was Joel Vision there.
Oh,
I did
Joel
have it
Vision.
on the
No worries.
mute. So that was all me. How can you get involved with this stock here at this level? What's going on in
Ah,
China? Holding the lows. Big old gap to fill in here. But this is one that we were looking to sell the rip in. You just had to be, patient with it. Did take out the pre-market high. Not no, it didn't take out the pre-market high. 76 put the kibosh on that rally. But even as weak as the overall market is, 76.36, you're still finding support here near the lows of the session. I can't figure it out, but I don't know. These kind of gaps scare me. Let's take a look at Baba. I know that was in the red, but that found support in the area of a couple other lows, attempted to rally. Baidu, BIDU, quiet. These stocks are, I mean, considering what's going on in China, I think these things, look at that. The FXI is up today. Boom, boom. What else do we have following in that? What are the big stocks? JD is the one, and I wanted to pull up JD.com. Someone asked about that this morning. Held the low 49.24 from Friday. Low today 49.29. So China stocks doing okay despite the crackdowns, and they show those pictures there and everything. And guess that's not affecting investors' appetite for these stocks today. Of course, they've had one. They've been absolutely decimated this year.
For a little while there, we did get a little bit of a bounce there in some kind of growth names. It seemed like we were starting to get a little bit of a bounce. And of course, we were still focusing on value, but we were pointing them out. And now it looks like they're back in the sell-off stage there. Take a look at Zoom today as a perfect example of that stock. Zoom getting hit hard today. And so it's down about 5.37%, about 4.4 from the open. And this is not a good looking chart by any means. I can't even, I won't face this. The only number I give you is 59.92, which is the low from the opening IPO day.
Yeah, you just had just a staunch seller in here, really from 70, really in the 77 handle at the end of last week. They stepped down to 76.47 today. I mean, boy, oh boy, you came down once to 70.44 and you survived. You came down to 70.92 and you survived. Today, you're coming down to 71.30. More time left in the session. Leaning hard on the lows of the move. So no such thing as a quadruple bottom. That not looking good. And we talked about the growth stocks on Friday, and we were wondering, if Tesla could ignite a rally in these stocks. Now, it didn't have a good day on Friday, but it's showing a little bit of perkiness today. Took out Friday's low and rebounded green on the session. So if you want to hold on to one positive in the session today for the growth stocks, it's that Tesla has not rolled over and just completely went into the abyss. Let's talk Kathy on CNBC today. New low for now, not a new low for the move here. Sellers ganging up and above 36. Not seeing much until you get down to the low from last week, and the ARK ETF getting close, 34.27.
All right, I'm looking for the date for the semi-truck delivery event. I know they have the event coming up. I was just trying to pull it for us here. I'll make sure that I have it in the morning for you guys. And that's the only thing on the upside that I can see from Tesla, right? When they deliver their semi-truck, that's probably going to give them a little bit of a lift. My question is, will the China kind of protests, will that actually cause a hit on Tesla? Didn't cause a hit this today in the intraday market. In the pre-market, it seemed like Tesla was getting hit a little bit on that news. I wonder if the continued protests eventually come roosting for Tesla. I would be a little bit careful on that, because the daily chart, I mean, it doesn't really show strength. It did bounce off of that 167.43 area, 167.50, but I don't think it's really showing strength. I think it's just showing a little bit of a bounce. It would need to get back above, let's say, 200 for me to say it's getting some strength to the upside.
It exceeded Friday's high by over $3. That's interesting. Just caught a bid around 10 o'clock, and that was a relentless bid. But what you're going to get now, I think, in your least here with 11 minutes to go in the session, looks like you're going to get a double close area. Actually, let's do one better than that. Let's call that a triple close area. Wednesday, you closed at 183.20. Friday, you closed at 182.86. Right now, as we trade, barely in the green here at the $183 area. a triple close. That's as good to me as a triple bottom. Let's see if that can catch a bid, support early. Of course, who knows what's going to happen in the markets overnight? Who knows what's going to happen on China? But as much as I like daily highs and lows, I do like multiple closes in the same area, showing the bulls and the bears squaring off.
Yeah, it's a tough market. I mean, the overnight action is just excessive. It's crazy. It just changes everything up. You could be in a really good position in the intraday market, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to swing this, and overnight, kapow, you're right back down. So
China.
It's difficult. It's difficult, especially when you don't have access to kind of ways to hedge like Joel, maybe in the futures market. Well, maybe that can help you in moments like this, because that's the only way that I could see it, right? There sometimes needs to be an out button on these trades, and it's been tough to trade things in the SPY, especially overnight. I've had a tough time with the swing trades there. We'll see what happens. Let's go to the oil names. Oil names finishing into the red here, and I know that some people have been talking about them holding on, but I'm thinking we get that pullback here. Does it mean that we're going to completely break down? No, but I could see us coming back towards 100 or maybe even 103s. That doesn't seem bad for me. That'd be about 38.2% retracement above towards the 102 level. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, boy, these things they're kind of getting a mind of their own here, with crude way down and then crude rallied back, but they didn't. If I was a longer term investor in this one and had the wherewithal to get in this thing early in 22, look at the returns that you're getting here. I'd keep a really close focus on this 108 area. Your low from last week, 107.48. You go back to the second week of the month. You had a pair of lows there at 108. But you know what? Let me pose this question for our listeners. With the outsized gains that you had in the oil sector this year, right? Just blowing everything away.
Yeah.
What are the chances that they might be the biggest losing sector next year?
It could be very much, right? I mean, that's how it happens a lot of the time. And this is why you sometimes look at the beaten down sectors and you look at some of the ones that can make sense relative, right? Energy eventually is going to get into more of that recession concern, and there will be some supply that comes back online if we hopefully get out of the Russia and Ukraine situation. If ever that happens, well, there goes that oil trade, right? At least I would feel so. Especially if the war kind of was done, then clearly the supply would be back onto the market. And I don't think we would be still hitting maybe Russia with so much sanctions if the war ended. So that's something to keep in mind. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen. One thing that I will tell you guys, though, is I am working on trying to get some more outlooks of 2023. We'll work on that. Let's go towards the last couple of stocks here. Wednesday and Tuesday reporting. We'll get CrowdStrike after Tuesday's bell. So that's an interesting stock. I don't know if you want to take a look at CrowdStrike.
I can give you major resistance. I can't give you major support, but if this thing rallies back to the 140, 130 area, heads up, your last three highs. Wow, this got green on the session too. So you did have some buying interest early. You did take out Friday's low pretty easily, back above it now. Little position squaring ahead of the report after the close, but the best thing I can do on this one is I could give you a 3-star resistance at 141 30 and harder to find support.
All right, let's keep going. We'll take another look. Maybe let's do.
Who's in trouble today? And I'm gonna get you and Triple D off this bullish Disney here.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
Yeah,
don't worry.
you guys are.
Remember what I said though. Remember what I said. I like it if Netflix stays bullish.
And I got yelled at for saying that.
I like it if Netflix stays bullish.
I got yelled at
didn't
for
stay
saying
bullish.
That. I got yelled at for saying that.
About Netflix?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know how Dennis gets sometimes,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. He bit my head off.
We
He
gotta
was
get
like,
him
"Oh,"
sometimes. We gotta
he was
get him
like, "Oh yeah."
sometimes.
And then you know what? You know what I did? You know what I did with that comment? He did. Like, I'm like, okay, okay. I'm coming back on this one. And look at this. I said, well, what has this stock done since 2016?
That is true. That
Squat.
is true.
I mean, come
That is
on. You
true.
guys talk about, oh, we're buying strong stocks and, uptrends and pullbacks and everything. This thing went to 200 for God knows what reason. I'm sorry, strike that comment. And now you're back down 2-for-1 stock split. Man, I mean, a recession, if he's all worried about recession, people aren't going to be spending $3,000 to go to Disney World, man. And I love the House of Mouse. I mean, I love Disney World, but I don't know. There just seems to be, higher wages and a lot of things working against it. The big catalyst was that Disney Plus. Now they're putting on a hiring freeze, right? So now you get, the next pop is, they're gonna, big job cuts. That doesn't make you, liquid it. So I don't know. Bad day today. Barron's, it got the Barron's kibosh too. It wasn't on the cover, but I think it was at the top of the cover. Let me see. I flipped through that thing so fast.
Dun dun
Um,
dun.
Let me see here on my Barron's. Bob Iger's uphill battle at Disney, page 7. I mean, what do you need to read any more than that? Then you don't need to read the whole article. You just look at the cover, man. Yeah, I remember when I used to be a market maker in like 40,
This
50
is
stocks for oldie, and you'd be like, you'd get stuck, with some big position at the end of the day. You take it over the weekend, and you'd be like, you go to that mailbox, and you're like, oh man, what's on the cover of Barron's? And then like some stock you're long a bunch of shares in Barron's panning. You're like, oh, all right. Could ruin your weekend, but nothing could have ruined my weekend today as my Wolverines crushed the Buckeyes. So even a Barron's cover couldn't ruin my weekend. But
yeah.
Zachary says good impersonation, but you should
Mess up your hair
but
first. You know.
you know
You
what?
gotta give a
I don't got much hair.
little triple D action. You
No
know.
one, no one noticed my new do over the weekend.
The new dude, bro. Come on,
Guy
bro.
looks like a lot like the old do, but anyways, yeah, got it
Oh, we
trimmed.
gotta mess with him. Gotta mess with him when we
We got to
can.
rally. We're rallying into the close here. A little bearish
Okay.
talk from me about last week's low. We're 10 points off the low. We're trying to close in the 39.70 handle. 3 minutes left. Mitch, what do you want to cover?
I mean, there ain't much. We could take stocks from you guys in the chat. If you guys want to throw up something, we can go ahead and do it. It's going to be that type of week where you got to be careful. And I say stay careful with those crypto stocks. I did see those take another hit. SI getting hit today with the BlockFi news. That was another reason why the markets went down today. Some more contagion with the FTX situation. Looks like Silvergate was using, of course, BlockFi as their platform. And I've talked about this SI since that Bank of America call, and I got to give it a shout out to whoever that Bank of America analyst that took their shot on SI to the downside. Going to have to get them on because they definitely killed it with that outlook.
Have we ever had a Bank of America analyst on?
I'm going to get it. I'm going to make it happen, bro.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd actually from who do you see on CNBC? You see what Brian Moynihan, he's the president. So yeah, maybe reach out to those uh, um, Bank of America people. Let's see here. Little buy and balance. We've seen, buy and balance in the close in the the machines, they start lifting offers and you get a little pop here. So that one redeeming factor here, less than a minute left, is we are going to close off the lows of the session. But still not a good day for the market. We are closed. I'm going to call the last print 39.69 and a quarter. Little bit of buy-in to end the day. But overall, not a good way to start the week, Mitch.
Not a good way to start the week at all, and we'll see what happens throughout the day in the after hours. Will we get some news that kind of push us back up towards the upside? Right now, I just don't see it, right? Of course, PCE could help us out later in the week. We'll see what happens on that Thursday report. A lot of earnings throughout the week. We'll see what happens there. And like always, you guys can catch us tomorrow on Pre-Market Prep. Don't miss it, 8 a.m. Be square. I'll see you guys there. See you there, Joel. Have a good one. Hit the thumbs up on your way out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow right here on Benzinga. Don't miss it. Got a lot going on throughout the week. And, of course, our event this December 7th. Don't miss it, our crypto event. I want you guys to get out over there. If you guys are in New York, want to come over to our crypto event, let me know. I might be able to work something up for you. Check out my Money Mitch 20% discount to the crypto event. You guys can check it out. The future of crypto in New York City. You don't want to miss that, guys. December 7th. It's gonna be a blast. I'm telling you guys, one of the things that you guys will be seeing, there's some big names that are going to be going. Of course, we'll have Yuga Labs co-founder there. We'll have O'Leary. We'll have Scamucci. We got them all. Josh, don't want to miss it there. Come learn from the leaders building in the industry and see what opportunities you might be missing out on.